Yeah, hey gang, welcome to our webinar here. It is the What to Do After Your Giving Day webinar. It's going to be super fun. Thanks so much for joining us. For those of you joining us live, hey, in the chat, mention who you are, where you're beaming in from, and what organization you're around. And I am going to hang out. And with you, it's going to be a blast. Okay, so welcome. Giving days are tough and they are all around and they are hanging out and they are en route, whether you're doing an end of year one or you've got one in the winter time or you've got somewhere around your state wide thing, they're coming and you're probably participating in it. So a lot of us do a lot of work on giving days. It's really important to do them, but then what, right? I have found over doing this over the course of a long period of time that what you do actually after the event matters way more than the actual event itself. You're going to raise more money, you're going to have more purpose, and you're going to be able to set yourself up for the year afterwards. And that takes a little bit of brain power. So we're going to walk through that today. So here's kind of how things are going to work. We're going to give sort of a state of the state on kind of how we are benchmarking and looking at a lot of these particular events in general. Like, what are we seeing across the Midwest? Number one. Number two, we're going to go through a step-by-step process by which you and your organization can take your event, your day of giving event, and then you can actually do something with it that's really methodical, purposeful, meaningful. It's going to help you raise a bunch of money later on down the road. I am going to save a bunch of time for Q&A. We like doing Q&A around these parts, and so I feel like a lot of people will have some questions. Ask them away. We've got a Q&A piece right here, so if you've got one, drop them in at any point in time. I speak at 1,000 miles per hour. It's because I've been drinking coffee all morning in preparation for this. It's one of my favorite topics in the entire world. It's great. All right, so let's start at the top. Giving days are becoming increasingly popular, whether you're providing like a Giving Tuesday, which is the sort of holiday season version of this. And it's really sort of building momentum with other organizations in the community to get people to think about giving all at once. There's some problems with this. One, if you're one organization of 1.5 million in the United States, how on earth do you gain perspective and how do you rise to the top to get people to pay attention to you? That's a problem. Number two, how much effort and ROI are you going to like justify doing some of these giving days? More importantly, you've got a bunch of information from a bunch of people who decided to give to your organization on a specific day. What on earth do you do with this info? It's invaluable, but what do you do? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. The bellwether as I use around this time of year, I'm talking late fall, if you're watching this in replay, is something that happens in our neighbors to the east in the state of Minnesota. It's called Give to the Max Day. Started a number of years ago where a lot of organizations decided to team up and celebrate one day of the year where they all sort of say, give us money. It's before the holiday season, so people still have some cash. They haven't bought all the Legos that they can't afford. They've got some income that helps them with their end of year. It was sort of a pre-Giving Tuesday bit. They raised a boatload of money for years. They still raise a lot of money. I have been tracking that specifically because it is right before Giving Tuesday. It's right before some of the giving days that happen in North Dakota and South Dakota. So here in the Midwest specifically, we've got a bunch of them that we kind of track and look at. So 3 years ago, Give to the Max Day has a banner year, $32 million, which is incredible. So it's 5,900 nonprofits that participated throughout the whole state of Minnesota. The specific donors I don't really have. Weren't really concerned about that. What I was concerned about is that number. That's pretty interesting. It's a lot of money for a lot of organizations across the board. The year after that, this is last year, they raised $32 million, but they had more organizations participating, about 100 more. Disconcerting, but like last year was kind of chaotic and sort of economically speaking, we didn't really know what was going to happen. It looks like they had hit the peak amount of money they were going to raise in a giving day in any given year. 32 million. Sounds great. This year, they added a couple hundred more nonprofits. Logically, you would think adding a couple hundred more nonprofits and then using their network to tap into, give to the max, they would make more money happen. It didn't. So they had a couple hundred more nonprofits. They still raised $32 million. Now, this is an indication that giving days across the board are going to be relatively flat for the year, which means if you are a nonprofit organization and you do giving days and you are looking to make an extraordinary jump in revenue, temper expectations. I hope you do. I hope you kick ass. I hope you do so much better than everybody else, and I hope you exceed expectations. I'm high-fiving and cheerleading in your corner. From an expectation standpoint, the bellwether in which we are using is this, that it will be flat. In fact, some less than they've had in years prior. If we're adding nonprofits and we're maintaining the same, what we're seeing over the last decade and a half, if not 2 decades, is a decrease in individuals giving to nonprofits. They're just leaving. They're leaving the donor bases. They're leaving organizations completely. They're either one-time givers that they're really kind of emotionally invested in, and that's about it. If we know that, right, we can do something about it, which is what we're going to talk about today. It means that we need to figure out how to do all of this kind of cool work together, and we're going to try to figure out how we can sort of work in tangent of all the stuff that we're trying to accomplish, which is like raise a bunch of money, do a bunch of good in the community itself. It's going to be awesome, okay? We need a game plan to do that. So if you are anticipating a big bump, temper expectations. If you're expecting yourself to be like flatline from year to date, great. That puts you in a good mental space to sort of work on whatever you need to do afterwards, which is what the purpose of this webinar is for. Okay, makes sense? I'm going to go with thumbs up in the chat. This is makes sense. Kind of here's the groundwork for this thing. Okay, so now I'm going to give you, we're going to call it 10 steps. Typically I do 5, but I'm going to give you 10 steps today because this year important to me, and this makes sense to me. 10 steps. Post giving day. I'm assuming that you have a postcard or a letter announcing that you're participating in a giving day. I'm sure that you're participating in the giving day itself, and you make some calls to your donors to remind them it's a giving day. You cash your checks, you get them online, you do well, and you pat yourself on the back, job well done. Now what? What the hell do you do next? Okay. Number 1, send a thank you note. If you don't say thank you for the gift, you're not going to get another one. This is the basics of the basics. Okay. This is like 101 donor stuff. Okay. Now there's a difference between what type of donation or what type of thank you you give per donation. I am not suggesting that a $10 gift from somebody who can only give $10 to your organization is somehow less than the value of some gift that's $10,000 from somebody who can give you $10,000. I'm not saying that. From an organization, though, it's a lot easier to hit your budget if you have a handful of $10,000 donors cultivated over the period of time than 10,000 $10 donors. Can we all agree upon that? So the time and the energy and the effort of those higher level donors deserve a little bit more TLC. You do not ignore the $10 donors. Some of these smaller gifts are just test runs to see how you are going to react to a gift from somebody who may be brand new to your organization. So do your due diligence, make sure that you send a thank you note. Now, if you have the luxury or you have the privilege of being able to write handwritten thank you notes to every one of those people who donated to you, God bless you. It's awesome. Good for you. If you have a finite amount of time to work on your thank you notes, if you are a 1 or 2 person show, you're overwhelmed already. This is just another thing that you have to do, another hat you have to wear, and you can only carve out the time to write a handful of thank you notes. That's okay too. No one's going to judge you on this. Send out an email, send out make a phone call, send a text message, whatever you can do to say thank you for the gift, do it. Reserve those handwritten thank you notes for the creme de la creme or the most interesting human beings you have in your donor list that come through on the day of. You just have to say thank you. Please don't fall into the trap that you have too many donors that you can't say thank you to everybody, because you are going to come back the next year and go, where the hell did my donors go? Well, they didn't feel appreciated, number one. Number two, you never explained any, sort of had any communication with them other than gimme, gimme, gimme. Donors don't want to do that. And in fact, when you are seeing a donor crash of individual donors and they're just not showing up anymore, you need to preserve the donors that you have and make them feel like they are rock stars. It's your duty as a development director. It's a duty as somebody who's responsible for fundraising. You got to say thanks, okay? So we can all agree that after an event in which you have a gift come in, you have to say thank you. Most organizations stop there. And most organizations struggle with a 30, 40, 50% donor attrition rate, which means they are losing between 40 and 50% of their donors every single year, which means at the beginning of the year, knowing that you're going to lose half the donors in a particular thing, you now have to go get an additional 50% of donors, plus whatever you want to increase. And in an increasingly deficit-oriented donor database, where you're losing donors every single year, that puts so much extra pressure on you as a person who's running a nonprofit, who's participating in the donor. It's incredible. Putting a tourniquet on this this donor leaving piece to this puzzle here, gratitude, and the foresight to have conversations that are more interesting than please give me money all the time. If you just keep asking people for money, they're going to stop giving you money without any sort of justification or creative way that you can engage them that doesn't involve please give me. Don't Oliver this the entire time, okay? Make sense? Okay, so thank you notes, step one. Step two, time for analytics. You want to get nerdy today? Good. We're going to get nerdy today together, okay? Run your report on who gave you a gift on the day of your giving day. And we are looking for 4 specific things, okay? Number one, who gave more than they did the year before? We're going to talk about why this matters, right? Who gave more? Who gave less than they gave the year before? Interesting. Lose a job? Did they just not feel aligned? What is that? Okay. Who didn't give at all? Who just never showed up to give on the giving day? We want to know that. That's a desperate number that we need to know, and we need names. And then who's new? Who just showed up out of the blue? Who's a business or an individual that had no one on their radar? Like they just showed up and like, what the hell is this $50? Who are these people? Okay. Those are the 4 things that you really need to get in your donor analytics. Okay. And however you run this report, typically they'll have a site, probably a third-party site, where you can go and see who gave, whether they're anonymous or not. You can see who gave, how much, what time of day they gave. Like you can run all of those analytics. Most giving days have those, okay? Or your own database system, if you're giving to like a Give to the Max day, which is just everybody teaming up. We all celebrate this as a giving day. It's going through your own system. Whatever that case may be, run your day of report. Now, as a bonus of info, run a day before and a day after, okay? Just because there's a window of people like, oh crap, I forgot it was a giving day. No, you didn't. You just felt guilty. You felt bad about it. Or maybe you actually did. I don't remember stuff all the time. Who knows, right? So you want to run a window of the day before and the day after and your giving day so you can run every bit of information. You want to mark off those 4 things. Who gave more, who gave less, who didn't give, and who is new. Okay? Now you've got all that information. You've got it laying out, strewn amongst the table. Most of us aren't data nerds. Congratulations, you're going to become one today because we're going to look at these certain categories and why we need to concentrate on them, okay? Number one, who gave more? Okay, so now we're to the third part. Now we're going to concentrate and get into the weeds here a little bit, okay? Who gave more than they did the year prior? This is an indication of a couple of different things, and we need to figure out what they are. We need to build a game plan for reaching out to these individuals. So let's just say I gave last year $10 to your organization, Okay. Riley, who's sitting on our call today, I gave you $10 last year. This year, I gave you $100. Now, that means a couple of different things. Number one, I could have had a windfall. I could have gotten a raise. I got a new job. I have more income than I anticipated. I was moved by something that you did or said or I saw or experienced over the last couple of months that inspired me to give more. I think that Riley and her crew did a wonderful job of X, Y, and Z. I'm going to, and I feel more aligned with it, I'm going to give you some cash. Okay? That's number one. Number two, I could just randomly start giving, or I've contracted the number of organizations that I've given to, which means you're one of my 2 or 3 that I'm really in love with. Instead of giving to 12 organizations, I'm giving to 3. We're seeing that across the board in donations of all shapes and sizes. A lot of donors who typically give to a lot of organizations, we all give to a lot of organizations, right? We give to church and a school, a couple of ones. Kid comes up and is trying to sell you butter braids or pizzas door to door. You're going to give to that kid too. We're giving to a lot of organizations. This year, and really in the years prior, we're contracting the number of organizations that we're giving to. So it could be this increase in a gift could be just a contraction of a number of gifts into fewer organizations to give more money to make more impact. Now, how do you know? I'm going to let somebody in the comments, how do you know what route or what the donor's intent was or why they gave more? And I'll let you just write in a response. I will repeat them. Why do you think a donor would give more? Like what? How would we find that out? Spoiler alert, you ask them. I know, yes, I cannot believe that you mentioned that in the comment. You ask them. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Like we can, I'm telling you, here's a really weird, I'm going to give you a secret. Hold on a second. Don't tell anyone this, right? This is just a secret between you. So this is a phone. Back in the day, it was attached to a wall and you would call people and you'd have conversation. I know it's a supercomputer that you have super cool TikToks on all day, but it also serves the purpose of a phone. I know it's crazy. You have to ask the questions of those donors who you're curious about. That's the end of the quote. That you just need to do that. A lot of organizations, the organizations who are not on this webinar, who are just struggle busing on trying to figure out what the hell's going on with all of our donors, don't do the basics of picking up the phone and saying, hey, Christy, thank you so much for your gift today. And I'm going to give you, this is the script you can ask. I'll give you the script right now. Christy, thank you so much for your gift. Our organization is just amazed by your generosity. I'm so curious. What inspired you to give more than you have ever this year? Now, does that sound like you're a needy, wanty, sort of annoying human being? No, it's general curiosity. It's general interest in you wanting to know, the hell did you just do? Why is this a thing? I want to just give you a big old hug and a high five. It's meaningful conversation. And the minute you get that information, jot it down. We'll talk about why we need this important sort of thing. We're gonna talk about sort of taking this information and getting it into one place because you need to do that. What is the information? Put it in your CRM. Put it on a cocktail napkin. I don't really care what it is. Get that information now. Okay. So you want to get a hold of the ones who gave you more because they have this enthusiasm for you that they've demonstrated via their checkbook. And you want to harness that enthusiasm because there might be something down the line that they are excited about. The reason they're excited about it, they want to have coffee, etc. Best CRM to track any of this, I've got my thoughts. We're super huge fans of DonorDoc, which is like one of our favorite organizations that or groups that do CRM. They're good for small, medium-sized nonprofits. They're wonderful. They're intuitive. They're super cutting edge. They're affordable, which is great. If you don't have that, if you don't even have that, just get an Excel spreadsheet. Okay? going to be super easy. Okay. So you want to harness the energy. So the ones who donate more, you want to grab onto this and go. Grab a coffee, grab a meeting, just talk through it with them, sort of build on the excitement. Those are the ones who give you more. Now, who gave less? Don't worry about it too much. Okay. The fact that they gave is an indication that they still love you. And I would rather prioritize who gave more or who didn't give or who is new over the ones who gave less. They're still giving. They still deserve your attention. They still deserve your acknowledgement, but don't worry about adding this to your list. Okay. So number 4 is not who gave less. That's just part of your thank you list. Number 4 is who didn't give. Who gave to you last year that didn't show up this year? Holy crap, we got some work to do. Now, again, we talked a little bit about this attrition rate. Our goal as nonprofit leaders is we're going to have to try to put a tourniquet on losing donors. So this is something that we need to work on more than most things, is why are people leaving? Do they not feel aligned to our mission? How do we get them back? And it's a lot harder to get back donors than it is to grab new ones or to keep everybody around, right? It's a lot harder because you've either said something that they don't really agree upon, they've forgotten about you, they didn't make any sort of decision. It doesn't matter what their reasons are, it's just harder to get them back. So your 4th thing, right? So our thank yous, we're running our reports, we're immediately calling those who gave more because we're super curious, we want to build on their enthusiasm. The 4th thing that we do is we get a hold of as many people who didn't give because they might have a couple of things. Number 1, they might have forgotten. I know a joke about like, how do you forget about something that I've spammed you on? They might have just not felt your organization anymore. And that's okay. But we need to know that. What is it that changed that we can develop marketing plans or talking points that are going to address this? Is this a larger problem? Are we calling them and they're telling us the same thing? Your messaging is dry. I'm not really into it anymore. It seems like you got your crap together. It seems like you don't need it. Didn't really need us. I'm uninterested in what you're doing. Whatever the case may be. If there's a pattern, what do? We document it. So get on the phone with those who didn't give and ask them, hey, I'm curious. We didn't have you join us on our giving day. Totally understand if you forgot. I'm curious to see if there was a reason behind that. People will tell you their opinion about this. If there's one thing that I know about human beings, it is people have their opinions about stuff, right? Ask them. Put on your tough, big kid pants and just ask them and be willing to take the slings and arrows of how they've perceived the relationship that you have with them and why they didn't feel moved to give on a giving day. They might just go, oh crap, I forgot, I'm sending you a check. Great, you got them back. Nice work, kiddo, right? Or they might say, you know what, I'm just not feeling it this year, or I just lost my job, or whatever. That information is completely valuable for you for your next solicitation to that individual. And if we don't know, how are we going to do this? Once again, I will go to the chat. How on earth are we going to know? You ask. It is so okay to ask why you didn't give. I'll give you a scenario. This is the verbiage that I would use. Hey, Justin, yesterday was our giving day. We raised X amount of dollars. We're going to help a ton of folks. We noticed that we missed you. We missed you on our giving day, and I just wanted to reach out to see if everything was okay, if we can still count on your donation, or I'd love to chat with you about why you chose not to give to us. It's perfectly okay to ask that, right? You could mention that you appreciate them. You thank them for their gifts earlier. Let them know that you're still taking money because we're really good at taking money regardless of whatever day it is, right? Give them an option to give right there, or just talk about why they didn't give. It's super important, okay? Make sense? Thank yous, analytics, run your report. Call everybody who gave more. We're encouraging their enthusiasm. Those who didn't give, we're just calling to wonder why or remind them that you're still taking money, okay? Makes sense so far? Thumbs up in the chat, right? Yes, let's go. Okay. 5th step, brand new donors. Holy crap. I'm excited about everybody who's brand new. it's like Christmas, unless your giving day is on Christmas, then it's really just like it's just Christmas. But like it's a giving day, but it's Christmas, okay? New donors are super exciting. And again, I'm going to go back to what the hell do we do? We ask them why they gave, why they chose us, okay? You get to put on a different face with your new donors. Your first interaction with them on the phone or an email is your onboarding. And your onboarding, their first interaction with you is how excitable you are for that person to join the Cool Kids Club in giving to you. Holy Hannah. Rebecca, I am so excited that you gave to us. You have no idea how stoked we are about you helping us reach this particular goal. I'd love to talk with you about why we were fortunate enough to receive your generosity this year, and I'd love to thank you in person. Who's not going to want to call back with that bit? Everyone's going to want to call back. I want to feel good about somebody going to tell me that I'm pretty for 20 minutes on the phone and wonder why I gave to somebody. That's going to be amazing. Be authentic with it. Don't be one of those creepy people that are like, I want to know. Don't do that. That's a weird thing to do. Don't do that. But be excited. Be curious. Be like what caused you to give to us? What's your inspiration to give? Can we allocate this or do this in honor or in memory of somebody? Like, what's your connection? I will want to know. And what do we do with that information? We document this because we want to have further conversations with them going forward. Okay. Does this make sense? We're being very specific with very specific asks and next steps with those who gave to you. And I'm guaranteeing that this is really, really different than the way that you have navigated this before because we're so busy. But if you are purposeful with what you're doing here, God, this is going to be so good. Okay. So we thank everybody. Done deal. We run our reports. We're looking at them. We're nerding out. So we call the people who want to give more or who did give more, share the enthusiasm of how awesome they are. We want to showcase that. For those who didn't show up, either remind them that it's still a giving day or, hey, I'm curious to why you left. We want you back, but I'm curious to why you left. We want to make sure that there's no pattern that is being missed by our leadership team. Number 5, new donors. Be as excitable to them as you possibly can. This is their first impression. Make it a good one, okay? Be excitable, be grateful. It's going to be great. Okay, so step number 6 is your impact reporting back to all of those who gave. Impact reporting is super important. The next thing that they get in the email or physical snail mail or on social media should not be another ask. I've told this story a number of times, but I have a brother-in-law who every time he calls me, every time asks me for something. I'm to the point where I can go, what do you need? Picks up, what do you need now? I don't need anything. Yes, you do. And then he'll give me some ho-hum story about something, and then he'll eventually go, hey, can you do this? I knew it. Okay? Don't be that guy. Okay? You need to have communication and you need to have some sort of dialogue with your donors in between their gifts that is something other than, please give me more money. And I'm going to break it out into a 30, 60, 90-day plan for you. Okay? We probably have this when we get hired at a job, right? You have a 30, 60, 90-day status report. How'd you do your first 30 days at your job? Here's what we thought you did great. And here, right? So we know this as a pattern, okay? But we have 3 months to make a good impression before we have permission to ask for more money, as far as I'm concerned, okay? You can adjust accordingly to how your seasons of giving are. I get it. But when you're talking about a brand new donor or somebody who gave a lot of money or somebody who gave again after a big absence, let's just use this as a pattern. There's a purpose and there's a method to my madness here, okay? So 30, 60, 90. In the first 30 days, it is a celebration of what you did as an organization and with your donors. So if you had a goal and you met it, nice. Send them a note, say, hey, it's been 30 days since we had our giving day. We knocked it out of the park and we couldn't have done that without you. Thank you very much. I hope you celebrate today the way that we have with all of our donors We want to celebrate with you. Congratulations on helping us get to where we are. Kudos to you for being part of Team Awesome. 30 days, just a celebration note, okay? At 60 days, what did you do with the money? A lot of organizations miss this. A lot of organizations just assume that you know what you gave to. That's a terrible thing to do. Do not assume that anyone knows anything. We have the attention span of gnats in our society, right? It's being offensive to gnats. Give us an impact report on what you did with the cash. Hey, 2 months ago, we had our giving day, and I want to let you know that your money that you gave and helped us, your generosity has allowed us to do this. Here's what your gifts have done. Your gifts are already at work doing this. Make sense? We've already celebrated a win. I feel good about what I did. I helped the team. Now you're getting an update to where the hell my money went. This is transparency. This is honesty. This is enthusiasm. You allowed us to do this. Holy crap. We couldn't have done it without you. Nice job. At 90 days, this is 3 months after your giving day, you're still being purposeful with the outreach to those who gave you money on a random giving day that you probably didn't even want to do in the first place, but your board told you to. But you're having meaningful conversations now. This is game-changing operations because you're still referencing the last time they gave, okay? So now you get to reference the amount of money or the position financially that they allowed you to expand programming or to do this. A lot of donors want to give to a program, but they also want to see a watershed moment. This is your watershed moment. 3 months ago, we had an ask for our community that we raised X amount of dollars that allowed us to do this program. What it also did was allowed us the space and the time and the financial resources to expand, to do this, this, and this, or to double down on what we're already doing really great. Or here's what we did that you allowed us to do because you gave us the financial ability to give space to whatever it is, okay? Now, you can be creative in your 90-day review, but it has to tie back to their ability. They gave you the ability to do this work because you don't have to worry about fiscal, chaos because they gave to you on your giving day. So now you've got a 30-day hit. It's a nice little touch point for celebrating it after your initial thank you. That's 2. So thank you, that's 1 touch point. 30 days, celebration, there's another touch point. 60 days, this is what we did with your money. I'm still haven't asked you for a penny yet. Say, that's the 3rd touch point. 4th, here's what you've allowed us to do by supporting us. That's 4 touch points before you make step 7, make an ask. You've given them 4 touch points to make them feel really awesome about themselves. Now it's time to make an ask, specific to what we know about them. Let me ask you a question in the chat. For those of you who have been paying attention the whole time, we've gotten 4 touch points. We've called them and talked to them. We understand what they're doing. How do we know what specific thing that they like? We've asked them. They've donated to the certain, yes, we've asked them. We know things about them that no other organization does because no other organization that they gave to took the time to call, to build rapport, to ask them questions, and to understand what the heck they like about your organization. If you've got 28 programs and they've given to one specific program, would you ask them about the 28 other ones or 26 other ones? I'm bad at math. No. You're going to double down on the effort that they really, really love. If somebody gives to a shelter, but they hate cats, but they love dogs, would you send somebody who hates cats a cat appeal? No, of course you wouldn't. You know this now because you have actually interacted with them. So step 7 is ask them to do something for either a campaign or a volunteer opportunity or something. It doesn't even have to be about money. To be honest, it doesn't have to be about money, but it has to be an ask. And the reason it has to be an ask is you want to make sure that they are still engaged with you and they still dig you as much as you think that they dig you. And this is a really good opportunity to do that after a 90-day sort of highlight reel of all the great that they've helped you. Make an ask. So make an ask to be a volunteer. Make an ask to have a coffee meeting. Make an ask to have a phone call. Make an ask to have a cash donation. Make an ask to have you share on social media something. The old Dale Carnegie principle, like have them keep saying yes. Have them say yes to something. And until they tell you no, I hate your face, keep asking them to do stuff, right? Somebody will say, like, you know what? I gave you once. I got pressured in by my neighbor, and I really don't even like anything that what you do, so please stop bothering me. That's okay. Don't worry about it. They just told you what they want from you. They're being very open and honest and transparent, which is what we're trying to go for. So don't worry about those kind of things, right? But make an ask for something. That's step 7. Step 8. What does all the open communication that you have collected mean for a next step? So at this point in time, you are collecting how many times you've talked to them over the phone. You're collecting how many times you sent them a thank you note. You've looked at their email open rate or what their click-through rate is. If you're using something like a MailChimp or even a CRM system, they're going to tell you who clicked and who opened. So let's just hypothetically say, Carrie, I send you 4 emails and you open up all 4 and click all 4 links to learn more. What does it tell me about you? You're super into us. Or you're just really bored and you love clicking on email, which nobody does, by the way. Nobody likes email. You know damn well that you've been on this webinar here for like 36 minutes and you're already probably thinking about like the emails that are stacking up. I get this. Nobody likes it. It's terrible. So if Carrie is opening up my email, clicking on things and clicking through it consistently, she's into me. Not me, the organization. Sorry, that was a presumptuous. You might not like my face. It's fine. But you like my organization because you're opening up all of my stuff. So you want to document this, right? And because we're going to rank in order the biggest potential, right? At the same time. Thank you, Carrie. Make me feel good about myself. So, right, so we're tracking, that's number 8. We got to track all of our communication. We're looking at open clicks. We're looking at clicks and open rates and all those good information. We're putting that together. We're building a game plan. And then everybody who rises to the top, the people who answer your phone call, the ones who have really good conversations, who are super interesting with a great career or a business or a lead, like whatever that is, we now have our own next step donor database of best prospects that are going to lead us in to the next giving day. And how do you prep for that? I'm going to introduce something that I stole from somebody else. And we don't really steal from somebody else, but we just borrow things. The concept of a donorversary. Donorversary is for those new donors. Hey, we're coming up on the first time you ever donated to our organization. And I've been thinking about it a lot on what present I'm going to give you or how much I'm going to say thank you or whatever the case may be, right? So if Riley gives me a gift on a giving day, it's the first time that it's given to me, I'm going to remember that. And 3 months before the next giving day, I get to tell her about, hey, we're 90 days away from our donorversary. So we're going to prep a donorversary for all of our donors who are maybe new. Because what's the main goal? Retention at our next giving day. So number 9, let's build a donorversary. Doesn't have to be complicated, guys. I know that this sounds like a lot of work, but it's not. It's picking up the phone. It's understanding who your people are, documenting what they say. This is basics of the basics, but we're formatting it into let's build our better sort of giving day and be purposeful with it throughout the entire year. So we're going to prep a donorversary for all of our brand new donors and the ones who came back to us, right? We think of them as new donors. Okay. First time givers, we plan a donorversary, and now we go with a 90, 60, 30-day plan that ramps up to our next giving day. So we're going to take our impact reporting 30, 60, 90. We're going to reverse engineer it to ramp up to our giving day. So now we're going to talk about what the preview to the next event is, which is 90 days out. We talk about a donorversary for our brand new donors. We talk about impact with our consistent donors. We talk about the excitement that we have with the donors who gave us more money. Imagine what we could do with X, Y, and Z. That's kind of the messaging you're building right there. Okay. For those who haven't given our last year, but not this year donors, we can have a specific mention to the, hey, last year we raised this and we missed you. Imagine what we could do together if you came back to us and helped us raise even more money. Great messaging 90 days out, 60 days out. Another bit of messaging. We're talking about impact. We're talking about what you've done over the past year that's really, really good. We're excitable about these partnerships that we did. What wins can we celebrate and knock out of the park 60 days out to excite people, right? And then again, in between 60 and 30 days, we're probably announcing that it's a giving day because like a wedding or some other celebration, we only send out our invites 6 weeks in advance because nobody pays attention to this kind of stuff. Mark your calendars. And then 30 days out, we're having a specific ask for our donors. So like, join us in 30 days. You're going to get inundated with a lot of reminders. Pop it on your calendar and ignore everything else. We'd love to see you back. We're going to raise this amount of money. You build purposeful action plans and communication pieces, and you sprinkle in the phone calls with your biggest donors, your most loyal donors, the individuals who have given to you the most, and we're strategic about our ramp up to this year's giving day. And then you sit back and you can actually enjoy the damn giving day rather than stressing about it because you have a game plan. You've communicated with individuals and you've only asked them in the course of a year. You've asked them once for a gift, twice if you count the 30-day ramp up. It's totally authentic to pre-plan your communication, and in no way does this dismiss the spontaneity of giving somebody a call. Right? If we try to be good at something, we want to practice and rehearse it over and over again until we're just part of our habits. This is a written plan to build our habit of doing things differently post giving day. It's being purposeful with our thank you notes, which you have to get out. And whether you have the luxury of writing them handwritten, good. If you can only do an email, I'll take it. If you can do phone calls, beautiful. If you meet with people for coffee, even better, okay? But just say thanks. You're not going to get any more money, okay? Number 2, be analytics heavy. Run your reports and just look at them. Just absorb the information. And you're looking for a couple things, right? Who gave more, who gave less, who didn't give, and who's brand new. The next 3 things that we concentrate on, who gave more? Build enthusiasm with that note, okay? It's going to be really important to do that, okay? For those who gave less, you don't have time to do everything. Push a pause. Be grateful for them. Send them a thank you note, right? Don't need to do anything with them right away. Unless it's like a super dramatic thing, but that's for a sidebar conversation, okay? Who didn't give? Get on the horn. Find out why. Say how much they mean to you. If they forgot, take their money. If they hate you or they don't like you anymore, that's okay. Wish them well. Okay, but know why. Develop a pattern if there's something going on, okay? New donors. Your first interaction is like onboarding, okay? That's number 5. 6, use a 30, 60, 90-day plan to impact report, okay? We celebrate a win in that first 30 days. This is what we did with your money in the next 30 days for our 60-day note, okay? You allowed us the space to do X, Y, and Z at the 90-day mark, okay? That gives you 4 touch points from giving day to this 90 days after the event. And then you ask them for something, volunteer, coffee, phone call, etc. Ask them for something. It does not have to be money, okay? We're tracking our communication. That's the 8th part. We're looking for patterns of people who love us more than the average human being. And we're ranking them in order of people that you just want to be super friends with, okay? We're talking to them authentically and just touching base and catching up, reminding them that they're awesome, okay? 9, step 9, look back at those new donors and remind them that you're thinking about their donorversary that happened 9 months ago, okay? Carrie, I will send you the 9 steps. I'm actually going to develop this into like a nice little ebook. I thought about this today. I was like, wow, this should actually be like a step-by-step program. I'll tell you where you can get this too in a second, Carrie, okay? So step 9, donorversary prep. Just mention it. and then build a 90, 60, 30-day plan to ramp up to the next giving day. This thoughtful process by which you are going to engage your donors is going to be way different, way more purposeful, and way more meaningful than your average sort of like, thanks for your gift, blah, see you next year kind of bit. Everyone's going to do that, not you. No, you stopped in here. You stopped by and said, I want to know more about doing some good stuff, right? And you did. So congratulations. So that's the plan. I hope it's a good plan. I think it's a great plan, right? Thank yous, your donor analytics, who gave more, who didn't give, new donors, you impact report, you make a next ask, you track all your communication, you plan for your donoriversary, and then build your 90, 60, 30-day plan into the new year. What do you think about that for you, my friends? And with that, I will open it up to any questions that you might have. You can actually drop your questions in the webinar chat. I'll take them as they come in, because I think this is super important. Okay. Now, while you are typing in your questions, okay, every week I hop on the interwebs with some of our closest friends who are members of our Do Good University. I do an Ask Me Anything. I do this every week, and everybody has the opportunity to come in and ask me a question, and I love it more than anything in the entire world. I got a handful of people who are part of our Do Good University who just wanted to come in and do this today, even though they get the recording that's already uploaded, right? You'll have a window of opportunity to kind of watch this again. Then we're closing it off. We're putting it behind our Do Good University. And here's the bit. It's $50 a month. Super cheap to get access to everything here, okay? So you're going to get an email. And actually, I'm going to probably drop a link in the chat here that goes directly into it, because, hey, guess what? It's the giving season, and we're doing a buy one, give one. So if you sign up today, over the next couple of right here, if you sign up for today, I'm going to gift a month to somebody that you think is going to be awesome, that would like to ask us anything, who would like access to all of these kind of things too. It's going to be fun, so I think you should do that. So we'll drop a link in here as well. There it is. Thank you, Leah. Okay, click on this, go there, buy one, gift one. This is a good holiday treat for somebody who is in need of some assistance or just brain sort of consideration. This is a good gift, I think, for every one of our nonprofit friends. Okay, so we'll send you this link as well in the email afterwards. So don't worry, we'll just inundate it until you tell us that we don't like us anymore, which I bet you do. It's fine. Okay, we got some questions. Carrie, considering it is giving season, phone call is still the initial thank you, right? Absolutely, yeah. Call. One of the things that I think you can do in prep and afterwards is the thank you for your gift and don't make an ask calls are confusing to people. What do you want? Nothing. I just wanted to say thank you. We talk a really mean game in the nonprofit world about gratitude and appreciation, but when it comes down to it, we are always not doing as much as we could, and it's because we wear too many hats and we don't take the time, we don't carve out the time, right? It's really important to do just that. So Carrie, yeah, absolutely. Phone call is still the initial thank you, and then that second follow-up is a note, I think, for sure. So I hope that answers your question, Carrie. Yes, I always defer to a phone. Riley, what's the best way to celebrate the donoriversary in your opinion? You know what? It's just a private little note. If you have the information on your phone, send them a little thing with a gift with balloons. Send them a little note, an e-card. It does not have to be expensive. In fact, it can be as free as it can be. It's not the point of like, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of like stuff or things or like whatever. That doesn't matter. What matters is you remember it. You're doing something that nobody else has done. You're remembering it. So as simple as possible. But again, Riley, here's the interesting thing. If you know, I'm going to set this up. Here's the bonus. You want a bonus piece of insight? Here's what you can ask all of your donors. When you are asking them questions, when you have them on the phone, ask this. Bonus hot tip. Ready? Ooh. Bonus hot tip, okay? Ask your donors how they like to be appreciated. Think about if you knew every person who gave to you what their gratitude language was. Is it quality time together? Would they really appreciate a cup of coffee to talk about it? Is that what they like? Do they like words of affirmation? Do they like to be told they're pretty? You should know that, right? Do they like words of affirmation in cards? Do they like gifts? Do they hate recognition altogether? What's their gratitude love language? And how do you match well with them? That's the best, Riley, the best way to celebrate the Do-niversary, in my opinion, specific to what they love. Okay. All right. We got another one. Small nonprofit with all volunteer staff. Yeah. Try to get a handle on how much people should be asked in the next week. We're doing giving season. Lots. Feel free to just go scorched earth if you've got a big goal. Okay. Remember, everyone has an email open rate. If you're sitting at 30%, 35% open rate, you're doing great. If you're anything above that, you're doing phenomenal. But still means between 50 and 60% of the people who get your emails aren't opening it up. So if you are asking for money, Jennifer, ask away, right? But be very purposeful with those who give you money. Take them off of the list of solicitations as they give you gifts. So if you have 100 people that you're emailing, okay, this is really important to everybody here. If you have 100 people that you are emailing and you want to email them a solicitation note on Thursday, I wouldn't, it's Thanksgiving, nobody's paying attention. But if you wanted to, you could, right? Send them a thank you solicitation. Please give us money. And over the course of the next 24 hours, 12 of those 100 people give you money. Take those 12 people off your mailing list before you ask those people again. It is it's a little bit of work, but you're not going to get to like, I already gave you money. Why are you asking me money again? That attitude right there, that's too much. Jennifer, that's too much. So be very purposeful with who you're giving money, who you're soliciting, not necessarily how to, how to ask too much. That's not necessarily it, okay? But take them off of the list if you get money from them. Does that make sense, Jennifer? Okay. I would do timely asks. Okay. Okay, great. Awesome. I love that. Thumbs up. Okay. We are coming up on the end. If you have any more questions, I got a few more minutes to answer them, but here's what I'm going to pitch this one more time to you for Do Good University. Okay. This is the place where we put up all of our webinars. We host them there. We've got a sort of a dashboard in which you've got access to hundreds of hours of this kind of training that we do personalized. We're adding about maybe a dozen more trainings at the new year, which you get exclusive access to and nobody else does, which is kind of awesome. That's number one. It doesn't matter. The value that I have found and our members have found is our weekly conversations like this. If you have a question that you just have to get asked, or you have to ask, you just need, right, an answer to, we have it. You have it on standby all the time. Access to us and our brain to get you through all the hard times. That's what Do Good University is for. Now, here's a bit. Sign up for an entire year. You get an hour of one-on-one consulting with me. It's part of the package, right? And you get a month free if you just buy it as a year package. If not, it's $50 a month. I know what some of you spend $50 a month on at your organization. This is a way better value, I think, because we're just going to be buddies and friends, and we're going to like help each other do all these awesome things. Okay. So look for your email. Click on the link over here, Leah. I'll probably drop that in one more time. Click on it, and then here's the thing: give one away. Okay, give one away. It's great. Should we? So here's a couple more questions, and we'll wrap up. This is a great question. Are you cooking a turkey for Thanksgiving? Yep, I am. I'm also going to try a salt brine this year, not like a wet brine, but a dry salt brine. I'm going to see how it crisps up chicken skin or turkey skin because I want that. Jennifer, should we post on Facebook the same info that's in the mail? Yes. Be consistent. Don't confuse everybody with different messaging. Stay the same, right? Remember in that old marketing adage where it like takes us like a bunch of times to like remember what on earth we just got told? Say the same thing. Yep. Now you can play around with the words, Jennifer. Don't think you have to like verbatim, but messaging should be the same. Same talking points, same look, same photos, same link. Drive them to a thing. Okay. I love it. Justin, enjoy the week. Oh yeah, yeah. See, Justin's a cool member and he is awesome. Also, Leah is great. She's the best. You actually get like a twofer. So that is awesome. So that's the webinar right there, folks. I'm hoping that you learned something. I hope that you're motivated to do this. Drop me a line on how it all works. If you're participating in an upcoming giving event, like how does this rhythm feel for you? If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out. But here's what I would do. Join Do Good You, and then we can hang out all the time. It'd be great. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate every one of you. Thank you very much. Yeah, Jennifer will grab you a link there as well. We'll send you that link because it's for you. Have a great one. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week and your day. Thanks for stopping by if you were here live. Hey, thanks for looking at the replay if you were there as well. Love to see you. Join us again on another webinar because these are super fun and super helpful. See you again.